So yesterday, on August 5th, USCIS announced a new policy regarding requests for evidence and regarding evidentiary standards for initial filings. Under the new rules, USCIS will become more strict in ensuring that applicants submit all documents that are necessary when they initially file a case. In other words, if something is required and a person did not file it with their initial application, USCIS will have the discretion to just outright deny a case instead of issuing an RFE for it or a NOID for it. And the reason for this is they want to become more efficient and avoid people filing what are called shell cases just to buy themselves more time when certain documents are not ready. So that's the new rule. Applicants should be very careful to submit everything that's required upfront in the very beginning, and don't just expect to submit anything just to file a case, as people sometimes do, and expect to be able to submit it later. Everything should be submitted right away, otherwise you're risking potential outright denial. The policy is supposed to be broad and affect any type of immigration application, whether it's for a non-immigrant visa category, whether it's for an immigrant visa category, or whether it's for something like adjustment of status or change of status. So it's a broad policy and it affects to all USCIS filings. Now, the categories that would be more predominantly affected by this are those that people would have more trouble with redoing if they get denied. So for example, if like an H-1B case, which is based on a lottery selection, if the case gets denied under this policy because the applicant did not submit something that they were supposed to submit, and it gets denied, well, they can't just go ahead and refile it again because now they have to wait till the following year and they have to run in the lottery again and be selected. So it creates a huge problem if that happens. Similarly, if somebody got denied adjustment of status because, for example, let's say they failed to submit their birth certificate, right? If the case gets denied, well, it's not always possible to just simply refile adjustment of status. It depends on what underlying non-immigrant status you still hold or don't hold. So any application like that is based on facts that may not be available anymore for refiling would be more dangerous to get a denial from this than in other certain types of categories. So like I said, any USCIS filing for any category would be potentially affected by this policy. However, a type of case that is easily redoable and refilable from the beginning would be therefore less dramatically affected than certain other things like I just mentioned with H-1B or adjustment of status. For example, if you file a application for an immigrant category and it gets denied, well, you will have lost your priority date and you will have lost the filing fee, but theoretically it's still possible to redo the case again and file it again from the beginning. So in that sense, those types of cases would be less likely to be dramatically affected. I think there's a very high possibility that this might not be something that's an all or nothing. This might be similar to the adjustment of status memo that came out back in May, where USCIS is basically reminding officers that, hey, you guys have certain discretion and this is one of the areas of discretion that you have. It doesn't mean that every officer will start implementing this in every single case, nor does it mean that the officers will just ignore it. It'll be somewhere in the middle. Probably in most cases, nothing much will change, but occasionally you'll meet a case or an officer where they'll decide to exercise their discretion for one of many reasons and deny a case if something was missing.